If you don't know how great Pinterest is for blogging and how it can really propel your blog, hold that thought. The entire next module is all about Pinterest, creating a business account and using it to its fullest potential to get traffic to your website. In this lesson, all I want to focus on is how to use Canva to actually create these images for Pinterest. So let's go there now and take a look. One of the great things about Canva is all of these templates that they have. So just come over here and click Create a Design and then type in Pinterest. Here is the right size Pinterest graphic. Now once again, as with everything else we do in Canva, it starts with templates up here. So you could go through this list of templates and find a couple of different ones that work well for you. Here's a food one, so going along with that food blog, let's do that. And right here, let's click Add Another Page, and here's another great food one. Okay. Now what we need to do is talk about branding. We want to go back and use our same colors as we did before. So we're going to click on there, and to make sure it's the right blue, we're going to enter our code. Now, one of the things I said about templates that I don't really love is that, see how these two elements are together? If you try to change them, sometimes the sizing doesn't go right. So what I usually do is, once I've used this for a little bit of inspiration, I actually delete. And I'll delete the group. Then what I'll do is come over here in text and add a couple of things of text. It came down there, but I'm going to drag it up, and then these are going to be separate. And then the nice thing about that is I can make changes I want and they're not tied to each other. So remember, with our branding, we're using the same fonts. This is one font. The other font that we had was Homemade Apple. Okay, so we have both of those, and then like I said, it's always best to drag them out so that you know you're... Now, another best practice with a Pinterest graphic is to have your brand on here somewhere. So one good place, if you look in Pinterest, is down at the bottom. So let's just drag that up by clicking and dragging. Go to Elements, use the square, bring it down here, and we're going to make it that size to fill that space right there. If we position it backwards, it's going underneath the image there. And then we're going to use our blue, and then again we'll go to text, add a little body of text. We're going to grab this, bring it down. Maybe instead of the bold, we'll just use the regular though, white. Now the reason why I did that is because I'm going to leave a little room for you to put your logo. Now unfortunately, since if you don't have the Pro version, it doesn't save your logo. But that's why we uploaded it as an image right there. So you could take it and bring it down here and get it sized right so that it fits. Then actually we could just center this again. And then that way you have a little branding on here. Then up here you'll decide if you want it all caps. We're going to call it Perfect Pasta. Now one thing that I have found that works well on Pinterest is to kind of make it like a call to action, or to let people know that there's something in it for them. So instead of just perfect pasta, what I might say is how to make perfect pasta every single time. And you can change your sizes if you want, and just play around and get it the way that you like it. Now we want to replace this image right here. So it's just as simple as dragging one over. And then you see, this is the interesting thing about Pinterest. A lot of people think, oh, I haven't taken any vertical pictures, which is what I need for a pin. But as you can see here, you don't necessarily need a vertical picture. It really just depends on the layout that you're going to use. For this one, vertical pictures might work better just because it's kind of slices, but not necessarily. Play around with it and see what happens. All I'm doing is dragging these over. I actually don't think this pen really works that well for pasta, but you know, it's all experimentation. This one, you see how it says read more at reallyGreatSite.com, so already kind of has it in there. That's one interesting way to do blogging. So it could be 50 ideas for quick dinner. But again, you're going to want to change this to be your fonts that you picked. We're trying to get the same ones over and over so that people start recognizing your branding. So same thing with this and this. And then you'll have to go through here and make sure that the blues are in your right color. You see how really easy this is? I mean, okay, how long did this take? Only a few minutes, and I have 2 pin templates. Okay, one last thing. If you did have a good vertical image that you wanted to use and you didn't want to use a template, again, you could go to Elements, choose a photo grid, come to your uploads, find your good image that you wanted to use. See, it fills the whole thing. And then if you wanted to do a text overlay, pick anywhere you want, whether you want it to be at the top, at the bottom, it doesn't really matter. It's just totally up to you. And a neat thing about this, let's just take our text from before, our how to make perfect pasta every single time. So let's just copy these, duplicate. You can drag it down, duplicate, drag it down. But instead of 50, we'll just use that to make our perfect. And then obviously that's way too large. That's way too small. I left these as 2 separate boxes so that we could have the 2 different color right by side by side. And then one more thing, we're going to take this, we're going to duplicate it, and we can drag it down. Keep on dragging it until we get down here. Then we can resize this. If you want to take all of these elements and maybe move them down a little bit further so they're in between those 2 plates, we just highlighted them all. And then this, you could even make a little transparent by choosing this up here. It says transparency. Bring it down. So it's a little transparent so that you can still see the image behind it. But the nice thing is by having that text box, it's really making your words pop. And then again, you might want to take this little element down here. I just highlighted them all, and then I'm going to duplicate, and then I can just drag the whole lot of them all the way down to this pin. And we'll take just that piece. And there, how long did it take me to make 3 different pins? So the last thing that we're going to do is just give these a name. We're going to call it Pinterest Templates. That way, every time you go in here, all you have to do is change your wording for whatever blog post it is, and then change your images, and you have 3 different templates for every single pin. Instead of publishing to Pinterest, you're going to say download. and then you'll download them, and then they will all save as a folder on your computer.